Hey, my friends, and we are back with day 14 of the 30 days of meditation. Just about halfway through now. And how's it going for you? I am interested in your progress, which is why I'm here, which is why I founded the group, which is why I meditate live here every day to inspire and motivate you to check it out for yourself, to see if meditation is something that might work for you and help you out in your life. Obviously, you've come to the group with an interest in meditation and mindfulness, and that's a good start. And it's good to check everything out that you can find online, different teachers, different methods, different techniques. I don't like to be stuck with one approach. I think it's good to have a bag of tricks to know when to use certain techniques, when to meditate in silence, when to perhaps meditate with music, etc., etc. Have a couple different tricks up your sleeve, or if you don't have sleeves, in my case. Normally, I like to meditate naked. I like to meditate in the nude, but I understand that you guys don't want to see that. So I'm kind of meditating in the tank tops lately because I want to show off my muscles, of course. No, but I want to wear the least amount of clothes that I can wear so I can just feel like I'm naked. But enough about me. Let's talk about you and your meditation. So you came to the group interested in meditation and mindfulness. There are about, on average, about 20, 25, 30 new members per day. And I welcome you to the group. My glasses always look so crooked on this thing. And, this group was founded about 3.5 years ago as a way to inspire and motivate you to meditate every day. I began the group as a 30-day meditation challenge group, which means I gathered my friends and family and those who I thought would be interested in meditation, part of my Facebook family and friends, and invited them over and said, hey, look, I'm going to be meditating every day for 30 days. My practice was kind of sporadic at the time. I've been meditating on and off for 30 years. That's no great accomplishment. I just began and was interested in meditation at a young age, as perhaps maybe you are or were. But, my personal meditation journey has brought me in and out of motivational phases, But the most I ever got out of meditation was when I practiced consistently on a daily basis. And that's like any art or skill. You'll notice that you get better at it when you practice it daily. And when you dedicate, a little bit of time every single day toward practicing. It's like practicing music, art, dance, a skill, learning a new subject. You have to dedicate a certain amount of time toward gaining proficiency over that subject, toward mastering that skill. Meditation is absolutely no different. In fact, it's quite the same as all things. There's really not a lot of mystery and around meditation necessarily. In the higher stages, sure. When you start to go into higher stages of consciousness and you start to actually go beyond the self, then it can become quite mysterious and spontaneous. But in the beginning stages, it's very much a skill that we need to develop a consistent, practical approach to. I'm a firm believer in sticking with one technique, at least for a time, gaining proficiency over that technique. Through my martial arts experience and being a martial arts teacher, I think it's very important to learn the basics, gain a certain amount of proficiency over the basics. This is simply done through repetition over time, coming back to class, always making sure you start with the basics and then build and then learn new techniques over time to where, once you gain a certain amount of mastery over the basics, then you can learn new levels, new skills, new techniques, new forms, and go beyond all forms and techniques eventually. So, this is why I'm a big promoter of this particular technique called the single pointed mind. And I've had questions in the group about what is the single pointed mind and what am I doing here each day, Rob? Good question, my friend, and I'm glad you asked. So, the single pointed mind is simply a method of concentration on a single point. Just like you can concentrate on reading a book, or concentrate on watching TV, or concentrate on your work, your computer screen, or concentrate on the beautiful sunset. You can also concentrate on areas in the body known as chakras. The chakras are not in your physical body, they're in what's called your subtle physical body. This is a body of energy that surrounds your physical body, which contains a number of channels of energy. And these channels have some main junction points called chakras. There are 7 primary chakras which run along the base, from the base of the spine to the top of the head. You may be familiar with the chakras, you may have heard of them before. When you focus on a chakra, you're not actually focusing on a physical body, although they correspond somewhere around these areas, which I'm pointing to during the meditation. They're actually, as I said, in your non-physical or subtle physical body. This body of energy is also where we feel our emotions. Most of us are generally very blocked up in terms of being able to feel beyond the physical body. This is due to our conditioning in this world from a very young age to focus on mostly the physical, the material, the senses. We get caught up in habitual ways of perceiving life. Most of us are stuck in the 5 senses, whether we're stuck in the eyes, the ears, whatever, the body sensations, whether we're stuck in the thoughts, on the mental plane. We can't get beyond thinking and visualizing or running the old loop in the mind. And so part of what meditation in the early stages is doing is just simply learning how to hold your focus on one area. And this will develop the concentration, this will develop the willpower to eventually be able to move your awareness beyond the body, beyond the senses, to other planes of awareness which exist. And this is really the esoteric reason for meditation. Meditation, of course, can have side effects. These side effects can be good, these side effects can be bad. Well, the good ones you're probably familiar with, helping to calm the mind, calm the body, relax, helping to reduce anxiety, helping to increase mental clarity, focus. And these are all the good benefits of meditation. There are also esoteric or deeper purposes for meditation, which could be finding the truth of who and what you really are, which is something most of us are very unaware of because we're born into this world, we're given a name and identity, we develop this identity over time, and we're very stuck on it. And this identity, who we think we are, this accumulation of thoughts, memories, perceptions, eventually kind of becomes a prison that crystallizes and holds us in a mode of perception, which can be something where, we defend ourselves, we develop this ego, this sense of pride, of accomplishment, or this sense of lack or depression, I'm not good enough, or I'm better than everyone else, or all these different egotistical modes are merely the result of identity attachment. And, the attachments are what cause suffering. Whenever you're attached to something, well, we all know that nothing in this life lasts. It's all impermanent. This is the idea behind impermanence. This is the reason why the Buddha said, be not attached, or attachment causes suffering. To get off the wheel of life, the wheel of life is a cycle, this continual cycle of sameness, this continual cycle of thoughts. It's the habits and the tendencies that create our mental, emotional, and even physical prisons that box us into a certain mode of perception that makes us unhappy because we feel limited, we feel stuck. And the truth of the matter is, we're not limited. We are unlimited beings, but we live in a world of limitation. And that is an illusion. The world of limitation is merely just the facade of what we think the world is, of what we're kind of shown. When we approach the world as a meditator, we begin to see the world as it is in the beginning, and it will change according to the level in which we change. As we change, the world changes. As we become deeper and better perceivers, perhaps more psychic, perhaps more still, that reflects in the world, because the world is a reflection of our own minds, which is why Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. When you begin the meditation journey, you will start to see changes not only in yourself, but within the external world, because this is a reflection of your own mind and a reflection of who you are. Pause for some water. So with the single pointed mind meditation technique, it is a training process which gets you out of your habitual tendencies of mind, body, and emotion. When you sit down to meditate the first time, you'll notice that you become easily distracted by all sorts of thoughts, visualizations, remembrances, projections, bodily sensations, emotional blockages, contractions of energy, expansions of energy, tingling sensations. There could be all sorts of experiences that you have when you sit down to meditate. This is not good or bad. All experiences are just that. They're just experiences, and they vary for each individual because we're all on our own journey together, which makes it fun. But it's unique for each individual because we all come from a different set of environmental factors, families, cultures, societies, and conditionings. And this is all brought to a head, no pun intended. When we sit down to meditate, we discover all of this junk and all this stuff and all this garbage and baggage that we've been carrying around all of our lives. And it's just useless for the meditator, because as a meditator, someone who's seriously considering this practice, we want to be able to go beyond our self-limitations, go beyond the thoughts, go beyond the tendencies of mind. And so what the single pointed mind meditation does is it develops your strength of willpower, your concentration, your ability to hold your mind on the chakras will eventually be able to bring you a sense of stillness and clarity that in the beginning is sort of a noticeable benefit. You'll come out of the meditation and you'll just notice that your mind is clear. It's still. Your mindfulness practice throughout the day will become much more easy, will become much more flowing, because you'll already be in a mindful state of higher consciousness. And the goal with mindfulness is simply to remain as long as you can in that state of higher consciousness, because as soon as we go back to the body out of our meditation, we notice that there are many different things that grab our attention, from our work to our play to our school to our phones to our families to our friends to the tasks and obligations that we need to fulfill within the world, from just going out and running errands to getting gas to getting groceries, you name it. They all demand our attention. And your ability to move through these tasks and demands and actions with a sense of grace, clarity, poise, flow, and stillness will be the goal of your mindfulness practice. So we work very hard within the meditation session each day, whether you're sitting down to meditate for 10, 15, 20, or an hour. It really doesn't matter. How focused are you in your meditation? You could have an hour-long meditation and think you're meditating great, but you're just sitting there and thinking and spacing out. And it's not a very good meditation. And chances are there's not much going on with your with the change. Meditation should bring about a change in your state of awareness, a change in your state of consciousness. This is the true purpose for meditation. It's a way to break out of the mental conditioning, the emotional conditioning, and even the physical conditioning. So when we sit down, at first, the notice is what we want to try to do is become still in the body, still in the emotions, and still in the mind. As we notice, this is a very challenging thing to do, so we use a focal point. I like to use the chakras. I like to begin with what's called a yantra. A yantra is available for download for free at the top of the group in the announcements section. It's simply a gazing device. It's a picture with a bunch of geometrical designs with a dot in the center. You look at it with your eyes and you try to hold your gaze on the central dot. What you'll notice is as soon as you start to think thoughts or get distracted, you bring your eyes and your focus back to looking just at the dot. Once you get more adept at this process, you want to try to hold it there with some intensity. In the beginning of your meditation practice, or in this particular practice that I'm demonstrating here, it's a good idea to try really hard, especially at the beginning, because at the beginning, it's like we're just warming up. We're trying to get out of the mundane consciousness or the mundane state of mind that we began with or that we're coming from and enter into higher states of consciousness, which require overcoming these mental tendencies that I like to talk so much about. So we begin with the yantra, we focus on the dot, and focusing on the dot warms up our ability to hold our mind still by using our eyes, which is our dominant sense for most people. We can very easily hold our gaze at the dot, and you'll learn how to hold your perception, your attention still on one point. So that's step one. Then step two, we move into the various chakras. I begin step two with the navel chakra, right around the belly button, slightly below. This is the chakra of power. Then I move up to the heart chakra, which is in the center of the chest. Again, these chakras are not in the physical body, but they kind of correspond to these areas. The heart chakra is a chakra of balance, joy, love. And then we move up to the third eye, which is the chakra of knowledge, wisdom. And so we have the Kundalini energy rises as we focus on these chakras. And the Kundalini energy is the energy of spiritual evolution. Most people are locked up down here in the lower chakras. The lower chakras are related to survival and reproduction and power and desires. As we move up into the higher chakras, we will notice we have different states of awareness begin to open up to us. We actually enter into higher dimensions. These higher dimensions are modes of perception. We are multidimensional beings, but because we are conditioned to focus mostly on the physical body in this world, most of us are stuck in the physical sensorial senses, the five senses. And unless you're someone who has gone beyond the five senses through the various modes that are available, then it's difficult to even know that there's something beyond that. But chances are, if you're interested in meditation, mindfulness, self-discovery, enlightenment, all these metaphysical type concepts, you know that there's modes and that there's a beyond, that there's a beyond the body. We are a multidimensional being with numerous dimensions. And as we meditate and become still, we're stilling the blocks. The blocks are the thoughts, the tendencies of mind to constantly move, the tendencies of our awareness to kind of go where it wants to go. And as we become still, we'll notice that there are different modes of perception that begin to awaken. We discover, we uncover the truth of who and what we really are, which is really just pure awareness, or what's called pure consciousness. Okay, my friend, so there you go for your little talk today. Trust me, I can sit here and talk all day about this stuff, and I love it. And I think it's important to love what you do. If you don't love it, then maybe it's not for you. So meditation is something that you should come in with a great deal of love and a great deal of love for yourself. This is a step you're taking in the right direction of self-love, of taking the time to dedicate a beneficial practice for yourself, which will then reflect out into the world around you, which is very important. Okay, so here we go today with the single pointed mind meditation. Follow along. I'll be doing a 30-minute meditation as I am every day. Now, starting tomorrow on the 15th, we're halfway through the 30-day challenge. So I'll actually be increasing my meditation time by 5 minutes. And I'll explain to you what I'll be doing with those additional 5 minutes tomorrow. So here we go. Today I'll be meditating with some music in the background. And yeah, so follow along. Here we go. All right. So after a meditation, it's a good idea to take your time and just come back to your body slowly. You know, look around. Don't jump right back into your routine. Don't just whip your phone out and start scrolling through Facebook. It's a good idea to kind of do an analysis of the change in your state of awareness. It's a good idea to, while you're meditating, not judge how your meditation's going. You know, we all have good days and bad days. Until we become masters, this is going to happen. But the important thing is that we try as hard as we can to become still or to focus in each meditation. The test is how you feel afterward, how you feel 10, 15 minutes afterward. Once you get up and once you kind of get back into your bodily consciousness and start going about your activities, notice that new state of awareness that you've uncovered or that you've developed or that you've reached in your meditation is now present. You become more present, you become more aware, and you become more able to stay centered and still within your day-to-day activities. And this is the true practice of mindfulness. When we reach a certain state of awareness, a higher state of consciousness in our meditation, we want to try to maintain that throughout the day in our mindfulness practice, which involves mostly how we interact with the world. You know, we can't change the world around us. We can only really take responsibility for ourselves, how we interact, what we say, what we don't say, what we let go in terms of how people interact with us or treat us. Is a very important practice to maintain. And so, have a great day, my friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.